and the deep echoing halls of Khazad-dûm, where the great dwarven forges blazed day and night, the masters of stone and metal honed their skills with unmatched precision. Among their many crafts, one of the most revered was the art of plastic extrusion, a process that allowed the dwarves to create intricate and durable components essential for their machinery and tools. This craft was guided by the 5 S's: sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. These principles ensured that the dwarven forges produced items of unparalleled quality, with every tool and material perfectly organized and maintained. Long ago, in the days before the shadow of Durin's Bane fell upon the halls of Moria, there was a forge known as Durin's Forge. It was a place of great industry and creation, where the dwarves crafted everything from weapons and armor to the intricate machinery powered by their plastic extrusions. Over time, however, the forge became cluttered. Tools were mixed with scrap material, molds lay in disarray, and precision instruments like calipers, tape measures, and angle gauges were scattered haphazardly across the stone floor. A young dwarf named Thrain, a master of plastic extrusion, found himself overwhelmed by the chaos. One day, as he struggled to locate a specific mold amidst the clutter, his frustration boiled over. "How can a craftsman work in such disorder?" he cried. It was then that Balin, an elder and wise advisor, approached Thrain. "Thrain," Balin said, his voice steady, "the first step to restoring the forge is to sort. You must separate what is needed from what is not. Only then can you create with clarity and precision." With Balin's guidance, Thrain began the arduous task of sorting the forge. He divided tools, materials, and molds into categories, discarding what was broken or unnecessary. Precision tools like calipers and tape measures were placed in their own dedicated area, while molds and fit-tos were organized based on their use and condition. The forge, once a chaotic mess, became a place of clarity, where every item had its purpose. With the forge sorted, Thrain knew the next step was to set in order. Balin had taught him that even the best tools were useless if they could not be found when needed. Just as an army must be well organized to fight effectively, so too must the tools of a craftsman be arranged with purpose. Thrain built shelves and racks along the walls of the forge, organizing tools by their function and frequency of use. Calipers, tape measures, and angle gauges were hung on a dedicated toolboard, each with its own labeled spot. Brass cleaning tools were stored near the extruder, ensuring they were always within reach for maintaining the machinery. The molds and fit-tos were stacked in neat rows, each one labeled and easily accessible. Materials were stored in clearly marked bins, with the most frequently used polymers placed closest to the workstations. The forge, once cluttered and chaotic, now hummed with efficiency. Every tool, every material was in its rightful place, ready to be used at a moment's notice. The time Thrain had once wasted searching for tools was now spent crafting masterpieces. In Khazad-dûm, the dwarves took great pride in their work, and this pride extended to the care of their tools and equipment. The third S, shine, was a reflection of this pride. Just as a warrior's armor must gleam to inspire confidence on the battlefield, so too must the forge be kept clean and well maintained to ensure the highest quality of work. Thrain and his fellow dwarves took to the task with zeal. They cleaned the forge from top to bottom, polishing the tools until they shone in the firelight. The extrusion machines were carefully inspected, oiled and maintained to ensure they ran smoothly. Brass cleaning tools were used to meticulously clean the equipment, ensuring that no residue or debris could compromise the quality of their work. The forge, now free of grime and clutter, became a place of beauty as well as function. The clean, well-organized environment inspired the dwarves to work with even greater focus and precision. They knew that in a clean forge, the risk of mistakes and accidents was greatly reduced, allowing them to create their finest work. But Thrain knew that order and cleanliness alone were not enough. The forge needed rules, standards that would ensure that the hard-won order was maintained. This was the fourth S, standardize. Balin had often spoken of the importance of setting down clear, consistent procedures, much like the laws that governed the great kingdoms of Middle-earth. Thrain worked with the other dwarves to establish routines and procedures for every aspect of the forge's operation. They created schedules for cleaning and maintenance, guidelines for storing tools and materials, and protocols for the extrusion process itself. These standards were recorded in a great tome bound in leather and iron, which was kept in the heart of the forge. The standards ensured that calipers were always recalibrated after use, tape measures were inspected for accuracy, and that angle gauges were properly aligned. The cleaning tools had designated spots, ensuring they were always available and in good condition. The molds and fit tools were returned to their labeled spots after each use, and the extrusion machines were regularly inspected and cleaned. With these standards in place, the forge ran like a well-oiled machine. Every dwarf knew their role and followed the procedures to the letter. The consistency in their work led to higher quality products, fewer mistakes, and a smoother operation overall. The final S was sustain, perhaps the most difficult of all. It was one thing to achieve order and efficiency, but to maintain it over time required constant vigilance and commitment. In the dark, ancient halls of Khazad-dûm, the dwarves understood that their legacy was built not just on their craftsmanship, but on their ability to sustain their practices through the ages. Thrain took it upon himself to ensure that the principles of the 5 S's were not forgotten. He led by example, following the standards and maintaining the order he had worked so hard to establish. He trained new apprentices in the ways of the forge, teaching them the importance of sorting, setting in order, shining, and standardizing their work. The other dwarves followed his lead, taking pride in their work and in the order they had created. The forge became a beacon of efficiency and productivity, producing works of such quality that they were sought after throughout Middle-earth. The legacy of Thrain and the 5 S's endured, passed down from generation to generation, ensuring that the forges of Khazad-dûm remained the greatest in all the lands. In time, the story of Thrain and the 5 S's spread beyond the halls of Khazad-dûm, becoming a legend among the dwarves. The principles of sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain became the foundation of their craftsmanship, guiding them in their work and in their lives. Even as the shadow of Durin's bane loomed over Moria, the dwarves held fast to these principles, knowing that order and discipline were their greatest weapons against the chaos of the world. And so, in the deepest halls of Khazad-dûm, where the fires of the forge burned bright and the hammer strikes echoed through the stone, the dwarves continued to create works of unparalleled strength and beauty, their legacy forged in the fires of the 5 S's.